Well, good morning. Thought I'd continue the tour of the cave. Figured maybe head down, go for a little walk. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll go for a little walk. It's not exactly the most convenient place to navigate. It's really set up for having an elytra. The only way from the bottom all the way to the top is this one water elevator. So if for some reason you don't have your elytra or you run out of rockets or whatever, there is a way to get back up top. There are a few smaller areas where water is pouring all the way down, but this is the main one. It's got the soul sand and the magma blocks down at the bottom for up and down. Other than that, you're really fine. It's built to be that. It's set up to be that. It was really annoying when we first got here, and I didn't have an elytra yet. But now it's pure flight all the way through the whole thing. That's the main water elevator up and down. Other than that, let's grab some spare rockets and you're flying around, right? So head along. The only place that you can really walk to is the slime farm. That thing is so stupidly ridiculous. Oh yeah, slime. So I've got iron golems on the edges, and as soon as they get in range, they're going to go for the iron golems. It's so dumb. It goes all the way down to bedrock. Nobody needs this much slime, but whatever. whatever. This path, I'm not going to head outside yet, but this is the one of the main paths to get out of the cave. I've got this one here. This one had to be hand dug. I TNT'd my way through and then dug it out. My wife came through and put a little decorative shell around it. The other side is just a tiny little hole in the side of the hill, heading up to the main mountain portion. There's a small kind of ravine out there that flies out to. Other than that, this slime farm is so stupid. It's ridiculous. No one needs a slime farm this big. It's a single chunk. It's dug all the way down to bedrock. It's got two different levels. If you're chilling up top, it's going to be dropping slime down. If you're way down at the bottom, it's going to be dropping slime down. There's minecart collection on a hopper clock that runs back and forth. It's so excessive and ridiculous. Nobody needs this much slime. It's so dumb. I've got chokers of slime blocks over there. Now I just throw the stuff in the garbage. It's way too much. But really, if you can't be excessive, what's the point of playing Minecraft? So, heading down to the bottom, we might as well start in the back corner over here, the most pointless farm I have ever made. So you got the sniffers. My wife went and got them when they first came out, so we had them. And we just set up a little area out here. We got Larry, Moe, and Curly out here, just hanging out, chilling out in the area. Not going to get a whole lot out of a couple of sniffers, but if you really need stuff, it's a little more industrial in the back. I got so many sniffers back here, just just piles of them, and I have a collection system out back. It's just an etho hopper clock with a T flip flop, so when it fires, it triggers once and the mine carts that are underneath aren't going to just constantly be running back and forth. So when it triggers, they make run to the other side, collecting items, come back, drop them all off, and then they get sent up to a little chest outside. I didn't want to constantly running minecart things, so every 4 minutes or so that goes off and sends the minecarts out to do their thing and collect anything. So you can come in here, you can feed them, so they're dropping eggs if you really want sniffer eggs, and get as many as you want. I mean, they're totally useless. There's no point in having them at all. But like the slime farm, yeah, they're here. You might as well, right? Got a super basic cactus farm over here. It's right under the storage area, so it's constantly running. No one needs Cactus really, other than a little bit of dye here and there, but it's there if I need it. These farms were set up by my wife right in the beginning when we first came down here. This was our main food source. They're pretty neglected now. There's no point in harvesting and everything, but I'm not going to tear them out. They're nostalgia. This is week one kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So up above, got a little villager area. So they're all farmers. I think pretty much all of them sell golden carrots. So that's our main food source. Anytime we need some carrots, this is the place to come. Um, I got two levels of them. My wife got all of this set up, the little cubbies that they live in and everything. All these guys are all set up down here by her. She had a villager breeding area up above really early on so that we could get enchantments and all that kind of stuff. And set up before having a raid farm, this was the main way for us to get emeralds. It's a pumpkin and melon farm. Um, it auto harvests if it detects anything grow. It triggers the entire row to have pistons come out, break them, have them sent all the way down, and then they come out over here. And as you can see, it's a little bit full. I got a raid farm now, so now it isn't really overly necessary. But if you decide you need some emeralds nice and quick, it was a great spot in the beginning. This was our best source of emeralds right here. Was coming down and constantly trading with all the villagers down here. Made tons of emeralds to allow us to buy anything that we needed from the other guys before we had the raid farm. It was great. So I guess I might as well take a minute and talk about the terrain. Let's maybe get the totem out of the way here. Um, that was the entire purpose of coming down into the cave, was to set this up. I saw the lush caves and they were interesting. I saw the dripstone caves and I liked the expansive feel of the caves. But I didn't want the lush cave terrain that's auto generating. I wanted to do something custom, so I thought I'd set up in a dripstone cave and then make it lush, but not a lush cave. Like make it have the moss and everything else as the main terrain, and throw some trees in. Obviously, keeping the same theme, I went with making azalea trees, um, but in a different setup than the auto generation, right? So, for example, I wanted to give it a little bit of different texture. I didn't just want all water and clay with a couple of azalea trees. I wanted to be able to customize it a little bit and go with less water, less kind of terracing like the lush caves tend to do, and more an expansive moss field to walk through, along with custom azalea trees. I'd never done custom trees before starting in the cave here. So all of these are pretty experimental. I've never really tried doing this before, but I thought it would be fun, and I think it actually turned out pretty good. Most of these larger trees ended up, I used oak for the larger ones, and then for the smaller trees, I actually used mangrove root for the tree body, and then still used the azalea leaves. Thought that would be kind of an interesting thing to try out for smaller, younger trees. You know what I mean? Um, these are set up as sort of getting larger trees with the mangrove roots right beside. So I guess you tell me what you think. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. I don't have a ton of them around. Most of the trees are a little bit larger, but I do have a few that are the mangrove root. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. Um, Ended up turning out pretty good. I do have some of the clay water features, like the regular lush caves. I've got them set up with some drip leaf in them, and then bone mealed the bottom to get some grass in there, put some sea pickles and some kelp. Thought it gave it a little bit of interest to it. Threw some fish in here, let them swim around, and ended up turning out like a nice little area over at the water features here. Some more younger trees, got some that are kind of like the jungle trees, just right into the ground, along with a few of the azalea bushes with some moss capping them off. Some of them have some moss carpet on top of them. A bunch of the area down here is slime chunks, so I did have to watch out and make sure that I was spawn proofing as I went. Like I said last time, that's why I had security in here. I had all these golems cruising around. They're all ending up in the ponds, trapped, but they were really useful while I was setting the place up. So very helpful to have around. But I did have to go through and do a significant amount of spawn proofing to safe up the area a little bit. I do have a geode that I've set up over here. I don't know if any of you watch Iskal 85, but I don't know if he was the first one to do it, but he was the one that gave me the idea to set it up so the entire thing is encased in water. So you can just float around from one to the other. Obviously, I've got a conduit in here so I can just breathe underwater and just cruise around freely without anything getting in my way and come through and harvest some of these geodes to get crystals or whatever. Doesn't take too long for them to grow, so if you're just in the area, every once in a while I can come in here, I can collect what I want, and carry on with my day. Kind of a neat little setup. I did see it first in Iskal 85's video, and thought it was a great idea. Definitely was going to steal that one because that's a fantastic idea right there. So I don't think I'm going to do too much more for this tour. I might kind of cover this little area over here, and then we'll call it quits for today. This is a new area that I set up. There was actually an enormous wall here running up above the ground. The roof actually came out around here, and I shaved the whole thing back. It was actually an underwater cave up above, which was the most annoying thing to try and clear out that I have done in this game in a really long time. That was terrible. But I wanted to clear it out, open it up a little bit, so now that you can fly straight through this dripstone here. This one was about 4 blocks away from the edge of that. And like I said, it came way down. You can kind of tell where I shaved it out. But I wanted to be able to fly into this area. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I am open to suggestions. I was thinking a couple of little fishing huts along the way, get a few villagers over here. But I was also thinking of bringing some guardians from the Guardian farm and putting them in the water here. But I don't want to do that until I finish building whatever it is that I'm going to build in this area, because that would be super annoying constantly getting shot by guardians. That would drive a guy absolutely crazy. But the entire thing is kind of hand done. None of this water was here. It was all installed. The clay underneath, the whole deal. I just thought it would be kind of a cool to do a little pond. So I'm thinking maybe some fishing shacks right in the area here. extending with little docks into the water. I thought that would be kind of neat. Maybe one on the other side there, and one further back in the back corner. I didn't really have a huge kind of plan in mind for here. I just thought it would be kind of neat. So if someone has other suggestions, by all means, let me know what you think.
So I think that's pretty much it for the tour that we're going to do. That kind of finishes off the area. I'll start over here at the giant stalagmite with the basalt generator inside of it, overworld generator. It's a little weird, but we'll cut it here and we'll see you next time.